this segment, we'll see the details of how to physically set up the eSlate polling place hardware. The steps in this segment are illustrated in your desk reference under Setting Up. Whether you have one eSlate booth or several, and a verifiable ballot printer or not, the steps for setup are essentially the same. The following video illustrates several eSlates connected to a single JBC unit. Your polling place may have more or fewer eSlate booths.
In this module, you will check the supplies and the polling place layout and traffic flow plan. You will also set up the Judges Booth Controller, or JBC, eSlate, and Disabled Access Unit, or DAO eSlate. Step 1 is checking supplies. Check the supplies available against your supply list. Step 2 is planning the polling place layout. Make certain that you have planned the layout of the JBC, eSlate booths, and voter instruction materials for efficient and safe polling place traffic. The primary focus of this presentation is setting up the JBC, the eSlates, and the DAO eSlate. Again, all of the information for setup is in the desk reference. Use the desk reference as your guide. Step 3 is setting up the JBC. Notice that the cables are not sitting on the JBC but to the side. Make certain that the JBCs are repacked in this manner to avoid scratched JBC screens. Remove the JBC from its box. Place the JBC on the table facing the election judge. Place the eSlate desk reference and appropriate envelope with JBC reconciliation log and the voter instruction script next to the JBC. Notice that the JBC is sealed like a ballot box. Set the JBC's black power cable and the gray JBC cable next to the JBC. You may connect the power cable to the JBC, but do not plug the JBC in yet. Noting the top indicator and aligning the connector correctly, plug the red end of the gray JBC booth cable into the red booth out port on the back of the JBC. Tighten the thumb screws by hand only. Step 4 is setting up the eSlates and DAO eSlates. Next, arrange the voting booth cases in the polling place. If you have a booth with a red stripe, it is a DAO booth. Place at least one DAO booth at the end of the row. Set up the legs of each booth. See the instructions found on the brace of each booth. 1. Release the 3 Velcro straps. 2. Position the left back leg. Grasp the leg, do not grasp the leg brace. Press and hold the button down. Raise the leg. Slide the leg out. Align the arrows to lock the button. 3. Position the right back leg in the same way as the left back leg. 4. Lock the leg braces together by fitting the button into the hole. 5. Position the front legs in the same way as the back legs. 6. Lock the straight tubes in place. 7. Extend the foot tubes and lock their buttons. 8. Lock the feet onto the straight tubes. The foot tubes extend towards the front of the booth where the handle and latches are located. After ensuring that each booth's feet are extended, use 2 people to turn each booth upright. Stand in front of a booth and release the latches located on either side of the handle. Press on the brace to lock the lid upright. Repeat for all booths. Noting the top indicator and aligning connectors correctly, plug the black end of the JBC cable into the back of the first booth in the row. Tighten the thumb screws. Notice that when you connect to the booth, you are connecting to the eSlate. Stand in front of the first booth and open the storage compartment above the eSlate. Run the cable out of the first booth and connect it to the back of the next booth in the row. Repeat for all eSlate booths. Remember, the last booth in the row should be a Dow eSlate. This unit must have battery power. Unfold the fabric privacy screens. Release the bottom of the screen from the clip. Unfold the screen and locate the loops. Fasten each loop over its post. If necessary, twist and roll the support wire towards the eSlate so the fabric screen stands upright. When packing the booth away at the end of the voting event, remember to curl and clip the screen in place. On Dow eSlate booths, open the booth storage compartment, remove the headphones, and visually check that the headphones are plugged into the right side of the Dow eSlate. Connect to the headphone jack if needed. Hang the headphones from the booth handle. If tactile input switches are included in the polling place equipment, tuck these switches away in the booth storage compartment or store these separately. Consult your desk reference to connect the switches if needed. Close the booth storage compartment lid. Set up voter instruction scripts, flyers, placards, and presentations. Voter instruction flyers. These go near the check-in station. Hand one to each voter. Voter instruction scripts. Today you'll be voting on the eSlate. To select a language, turn the select wheel until your language is highlighted in red and then press enter. Poll workers use these to instruct voters before the voters check in.
Okay.
Once you see the waving American flag, you may leave the booth. Voter instruction placards. These go at each booth where the voters can easily see them. Booth number signs. These need to go where both the voter and poll workers can easily see them. They also need to correspond to the booth assignment. One more thing that is not part of setting up, but that you may need to do sometime during the day, is to change the printer paper on the JBC. You will know the paper is running out when colored lines appear along the edges of the paper as you print. To change rolls, first lift the printer cover, pull the feed lever into the up position. Observe the routing of existing paper under the rubber roller, and then pull the old roll out. Take the spindle out of the empty roll and put it into the new roll. Orient the new roll with the paper rolling out from the bottom. Roll the paper under and around the rubber roller and under the metal strip. Pull some extra paper through and push the feed lever down. Feed the paper through the slot into the printer cover and close the cover. Finally, if the JBC battery key is not installed, you will install it when you open polls. To do so, line up the large raised line at the top of the connector with the large notch at the top of the auxiliary DC port and insert the key. Turn the key's collar. Do not plug any power sources into the JBC, including the battery key, until you start the open polls process.
To summarize what we just saw in the video, remember, the JBC is the hub of the polling place system, and it needs to be located close to an AC power outlet. After connecting the gray cable into the back of the JBC, assemble your eSlate booths. After that, the gray JVC cable will be plugged into the back of eSlate booth number 1. And if you have additional booths, take the cable from booth number 1 and connect it to the next booth in the line, and so on. A couple other things to remember about setup. The cable ends fit into the sockets in only one direction, so please don't force the cables. And finally, remember to extend the feet on your booths for greater stability. If you have training equipment available to you now, you can pause the video at this point and follow the steps in your desk reference to complete your own physical setup.